Hello everyone, my name is Vital Makwana and I'll be presenting to you together with Karabo Kaula, Musa Muima, Lotus Kusan and Lisa Maseko. I was tasked to do the research before we actually start building the application. So our main objective was to build a web application that tracks expenses amongst shared users, meaning the money going in, going out. And this application will be called WeShare. The resources that we have used are Google, and I've sometimes spoke with my peers for advice and within code curriculum and YouTube. Why did we choose the editors that we chose? And we chose VS Code because it has a powerful feature and user-friendly interface, unlike IntelliJ, which is mainly used with Java. The technologies that were used is Java and Purple S Linux, which is an operating system. Why did we choose Java? We chose Java because we decided to go with a server-side rendering programming language, since Java is an object-oriented programming language which you can build several tasks and application on, and we are most comfortable with Java. Why MVC architecture? We are more familiar with it than AMA, and it also aligns with what we said previously, that it does server-side rendering. What frameworks did we use? Did we use any of them? No, we did not use any of them because we wanted to improve without them. The templates that we have used, the template we use is TimeLeaf. Since the goal of TimeLeaf is to provide a stylish and well-formed way of creating templates, we went with that one. We also wanted to put in some plugins so that we can update the web page in real time and not have delayed data on the web page. In conclusion with the research, we managed to spoke about Java, HTML, TimeLeaf and MVC architecture, and no framework that we have used, and live server browser plugin. Thank you very much. I'll hand it over to my colleague.
I will be presenting the cost-benefit analysis for our WeShare website project. WeShare is a platform where friends can send, request, and track expenses, making it easy to manage spending. In this presentation, I will cover our cost and time estimate, resource usage, and how we managed potential delays. We're going to start off with the purpose of this cost-benefit analysis. This analysis helps us weigh the resources required against the benefits of developing WeShare. Using school computers and online resources kept our direct costs minimal, but it was essential to estimate time investment accurately within our 2-week project period. We're now going to discuss our approach to cost estimation for all of the key elements in WeShare. Since we relied heavily on school computers and freely available online resources, we avoided direct financial costs. However, we did need to account for the time each member invested in developing, designing, and testing each feature. By breaking down the development process into smaller tasks, we were able to allocate time effectively and minimize additional resource requirements. By breaking down the components, we spent time on designing and coding each feature as well as integrating them with our existing systems. By using school resources, we kept costs down, though additional resources could have increased expenses. This approach allowed us to focus primarily on time management to ensure each feature worked as planned. For our 2-week time frame, we structured our time to complete all essential features. Each feature, including key functionality like payment requests and expense tracking, was broken down into design, development, and testing stages. And time was set aside for each. We anticipated potential delays and planned for flexibility in our schedule. During the project, if one team member fell behind, we all stepped in to help them get back on track. This collaborative approach kept us moving forward, but it sometimes meant working longer hours than we initially expected and slightly delaying other parts of our production. Despite all these challenges, we as a team ourselves to complete everything within the specified time frame. In summary, our cost benefit analysis helped us manage both time and resources effectively by relying on collaboration, clear time estimates, and school resources that ensured each feature, whether it was expense tracking or payments request, was developed on schedule, allowing us to deliver a fully functional WeShare website within our project's deadline.
So I'll be demonstrating some of the transactions that are possible with the WeShare application. So as a user, I'm able to log in and view all my expenses and also send in payment requests. So right here, I'm logging in with my email address, and the application sends me straight to the expenses page, which shows a breakdown of all the expenses in the application. All the expenses which I have made as a user. And also there's a page where I can view where the payment request that I've sent. There's a page where I can view all the payment requests that I've received. So right now I'm gonna demonstrate the entry of a new expense into my applications, my personal account. So I'm gonna say lunch, and then so for a date, the form does not allow me to enter any date that's in the future, which is sort of like a validation, because you can't have an expense that's in the future. All of your expenses are in the past that you are trying to track. So I'm gonna enter in a date over here, and then you can't have a negative expense. So as you can see, the app does not allow me to enter in any negative values for the amount of the expense that I entered. So I'm gonna enter in 350 over here for lunch. So what happens is, after entering my expense, it gets saved. It is saved to the database, and I'm able to access the detailed view of the expense and also send in payment requests to other users so we can share an expense. So what I'm gonna do next is also send in a payment request to one of the users. So I'm gonna choose student 3, and then I'm gonna send in a payment request of 150. So another validation feature we added to the form is that you can enter in an amount that is more than what is you can enter in an amount that is more than the expense. So I enter in 150 over here. So let's see. So as you can see, the application does not allow me to enter in an amount more than what the expense is. So over here I'm gonna enter in 200, and then when the date which I'm expecting the payment request to be paid, so the form does not allow me to enter a date that's in the past. So I'm gonna enter in a future date. So I submitted a payment request to student 3. So here's a list of payment requests that I sent out. So right now I'm gonna log in as student 3 so that we can view the payment request that I sent out. So here's student 3's account, and then student 3 only has one expense, which is ice cream. So I'm gonna go to the payment request receive page to view the payment request that I sent to student 3. So as you can see, here's the payment request for lunch that I sent to student 3. It's being displayed over here on his page. And then whenever student 3 decides to pay that payment request, that that payment request automatically becomes an expense for student 3. So I'm gonna pay right now, and then we're gonna see the payment. The payment request get displayed over here in the expenses page as an expense. So I'm gonna pay for lunch over here, and as you can see, here's lunch. That becomes a payment, an expense for student 3. So as a user of the WeShare application, I'll be able to track my expenses by basically entering my login details over here on the login screen, which leads me to the main interface where I can enter my expenses. So I'll be demonstrating some of the transactions which the application can do. So over here I'll be entering an expense. So yeah. So after entering an expense, the entry is saved into the database, and which allows me to also view more details on the expense and whether I can share it with someone. So over here, after entering my expense, I went into the details of the expense, where it shows me a breakdown on who I'm sharing the expense with and how much. So over here is a form which allows me to send a payment request to another user, which allows them to interact with the payment. So I'm sending a payment request to a user right now. So as you can see over here on the detailed view of my expense, you can see previous payments for the following expense. We have the student who I sent the payment request to. So over here is a list of payment requests that I sent, and these are the payment requests that I received. So in terms of ease of use, we implemented some accessibility features whereby you can click the description of the form input, and it lets you enter in the details of what you want to put into the database. And also, when you're entering the date of the expense, the form does not allow you to enter any dates in the future, because you can't have an expense. You can already have an expense that's in the future. So as you can see, all the future dates are grayed out, and you can only enter in previous dates. And then also, the amount cannot be less than 0, because you can't have a negative expense. So these are some of the accessibility features which are implemented into the web application. Yeah, that's a breakdown of the WeShare application.
Thank you, my fellow team member. I'm going to be taking it from here, and I'm going to cover section E, which is web development tools. My name is Oletus Kosana, and I am going to be giving you an overview of the tools that we used in our WeShare web application. focusing on text editors, design tools, and supporting formats. I am going to be exploring the tools that we use for web development, including their strengths and limitations. Firstly, I'm going to cover our HTML editors, also known as our text editors. The first one is Visual Studio Code, which is highly regarded for its versatility. It offers extensive features like integrated Git support for version control, and it's it's an advantage because it simplifies tracking and changes and collaboration between team members. Its disadvantage is that there is no WYSIWYG editing. You are wondering what that means. So that means that it lacks a what you see is what you get editor, which means it doesn't provide a visual presentation of the final web page as you code, which can be very challenging for beginners or those focusing on design rather than code. The next one we have is Sublime Text, and Sublime Text is known for being lightweight and exceptionally fast as an advantage, even when handling large files, which makes it suitable for quick edits. The disadvantage is that while it's powerful, Sublime Text needs a setup for web features. It needs additional setup to enable certain specific features such as live previews, and without this it can feel limited for web development compared to other comprehensive editors. The last one is Atom, which Atom is a free and open source text editor which was created by GitHub. It is highly customizable with numerous themes and packages available for suitable developers' needs. And it also supports collaborative editing. Its disadvantage is that it slows down with large projects. The main drawback is that Atom can slow down with larger projects, affecting performance. It has become somewhat less popular after GitHub's acquisition by Microsoft, with support and updates less frequent than other editors. Next, I would like to cover our design tools that we use for our WeShare project. The first one is Adobe XD. Adobe XD is designed for creating web prototypes and layouts, which allows developers to create interactive designs and test the user interface flow while coding begins. Its advantage is prototyping and Adobe Suite integration, which means it integrates well with other Adobe products such as Photoshop and Illustrator, etc., making it versatile for more intensive design needs. Its disadvantage is that it has a limited free features. Adobe XD is a subscription based with a free version that has limited features. This can be a barrier for individuals or small teams who require more features without the budget for paid tools. The next I would like to cover is Figma. Figma is widely used for its real-time collaboration features, which is a big advantage, making it ideal for teams working remotely. It also allows developers to access CSS, iOS, and Android code snippets, speeding up the development progress. Its disadvantage is that it is more paid, or there is more paid features added recently. Recently, Figma introduced more paid features, which might limit access to its full functionality. The cost can add up, especially for small teams and solo developers relying on its collaborative tools. The last one is Adobe Photoshop. Adobe Photoshop is a powerful for creating, editing, and optimizing graphics for web, which is an advantage. It is ideal for beginners who need precise control over images, with intensive tools for retouching, resizing, and applying effects. Its disadvantage is that there's expensive subscription. Photoshop can overkill for simple web graphics and requires a subscription, which may be restrictive for users needing only occasional or basic graphic needs. The next thing I would like to cover is our important file formats. Our important file formats, the first one is HTML, which is a hypertext markup language, the fundamental file format used to structure content on the web, which is the structure of our web pages. The second one is CSS, which is the cascading style sheets, which defines the presentation and styling of HTML elements. The third one is the JavaScript, which are JavaScript files, which adds in interactivity, and it's essential for adding interaction to the website. The fourth one, GP, JPEG or PNG or GIF, which are image formats for visuals with specific strengths. The last one is SVG, which is the scalable vector graphics, which is ideal for responsive design, for scalable, high quality icons and graphics, especially for responsive websites. Next, I would like to move to our web browser plugins. Plugins are essential for extending the functionality of web browsers. They support additional features like viewing, multimedia content, improving accessibility, and enabling enhanced interactivity. For example, video playback, gaming, and PDF viewing. The first media the first web browser plugin is Media Plugin, which enables multimedia playbacks. For multimedia files directly in the browser, and it enables playback. For example, there's an Adobe Flash player, though now it is largely depreciated. The next browser plugin is developer tools, which help inspect and bug the code. There are extensions like Firebug or Chrome DevTools enhance developer ability to inspect, debug, and optimize their code. The last web browser plugin is security extensions. Security extensions include tools like ad blockers, VPNs that help protect user data and manage privacy settings. In conclusion, in our WeShare project, we were able to examine commonly used tools in depth, evaluating the reliability of our conclusions through a comprehensive research approach. This included methods such as time series analysis, content analysis, and action analysis. We also incorporated insights from AI and verified information with reliable resources, including which includes Stack Overflow and major engines. The process allowed us to critically analyze our findings and ensure that they align with dependable evidence. Our study of the web development project, presents a fresh view of these tools, highlighting aspects that may have been previously overlooked. We hope this encourages further research to deepen our understanding in this area. Thank you.